Morning everybody, and welcome to week 2 of Paradise Farms Coffee and Card, and we're in March 2022, and this is the card we're going to make today. Always love a fun fold. I always love a gatefold. As you can see, that's card number 2 because I've written it there in pencil so it can be removed. So now this one, lots and lots of stamping. Now when I did this card, I did the trunk and the coconuts in soft suede, but today I'm going to see if doing the trunks in crumb cake and the coconuts in soft suede, so you can actually see them a little bit better, and then the palm leaves are in garden green. So as they say on all the gaming videos, let's get started. So we need our kit from card number 2. Lots of little bits in this one, as you can see. So we've got a couple of pieces of cardstock. And I'm working with Evening Evergreen here. So this one is 10 centimetres by 8.5, and this is half a centimetre smaller both ways. And then we've got a couple of strips of garden green crumb cake. And they are 4.8 by 14.4, and then these are the garden green's half centimetre smaller in each direction. And then we've got a piece in the middle. I'm straying away from always putting white in the middle. I think some of our paler colours work really well, and I think this makes it a very masculine card. And so there we go. And to make the gatefold, if you have well, what I recommend for gatefolds is the Stampin' Up scoring tool, and if you get the metric plate, it's actually got a 5.25 slot, so you can actually score and make nice gatefolds again and again and again. So, which is useful when you're making lots of kits. So, right, so I'll start, and obviously your envelope. I'll start with the stamping. And of course I've snuck in one of these because I do love this piece, as you know. So as I say, we'll start with the stamping. So I'm going to do the trunks first, and I've used the straighter trunks for this one, and you'll find that they're wider at one end and narrower at the other. And then I'm going to use the larger of the frond stamps and then the coconuts as well. So let's get those mounted up. So I'm going to use, I do like this, is one of my favourites. This is an I block, an H block. The I block is bigger again, and it's quite unwieldy, but this one's a nice size and easy to control. And I'm just going to pop a couple of trunks like that. And as I say, I'm going to do them in crumb cake this time. I'm just going to add my sentiment first because I want to make sure I've got room for it. So I think on this one I'm going to do a happy birthday. So I just need a little block to put that on. And I'm just going to line it up with my grid paper so that it's straight with the block on top underneath it. Otherwise that's not going to work. And then I'm just stamping that in my glorious garden green. So I make these mistakes so you don't have to. You can see on here I've touched the edge of the stamp with ink. Now if I stamp it straight up and down, that's not going to catch, but if I rock it at all, it will, and you'll end up with a lovely green halo around your stamp, which you don't want. So I've just wiped that off, and I'm just going to pop that in the corner there, straight down, straight up, not straight. It'll do. It's handmade. All right, and now we'll add our trees. Out of the way. So I ummed and ahed on this. Do you do the trees first or do you do the fronds first? The trunk or the fronds first, and it's a tough one. So if I just pop that roughly where I want that to go, I don't want my tree to end any higher than that. So I'm just going to pop that one just there. Okay, and it's taking it with it. So, and then we'll do the same over this way, maybe a little bit higher. There we are. Okay. So, and then we'll get our garden green out to do the fronds. As you just heard, I keep my stamps in a wire rack. I've just bought myself a new craft mat, and it's one of the glass ones. I thought I'd give it a go. And what I hadn't thought about, because I previously had a self-healing one, is when you put things down on them, they make noise, because I had planned to use them for videos, but I can't because they're noisy, which I've never thought about. Okay, so there's one. And there's the other. So I'm positioning it so the trunk's going up this part here, which is where the leaves are. And I didn't put that one low enough. That is why I used the coconuts. So I'm just going to put this one a little bit low. So you've got to sort of imagine where the end of the trunk is and bring it down. There you go, that's better. And it's better to overlap the trunk a bit. I mean, obviously you don't want the trunk coming out the other side, but it looks better than leaving this gap there, although, as I say, I'm going to fill it in with coconuts, which is why I did use the coconuts in the first place. So, of course, I've left a gap. Right, so we're using the darker neutral now for the coconuts, so I'm hoping that they'll show up a little bit more. So, and I don't think there's a way up they go. So what I'm aiming to do is sort of do them there between. See? Ah, didn't check. See? Got a little bit of ink on the edge there, and I pressed too hard. It is even easier to do that with a small stamp. So, and then I'm going to wind that off again. I've treated myself to all the new style ink pads. Just because now I'm running classes in person, it's easier that they all open the same way, and they're very juicy. So this is why they're getting ink everywhere. Right, okay, and then I'm just popping those just there. So they actually look like coconuts rather than little blobs like they did on the other card. So there we go. Okay, and now I'm just going to put the card together. So that's going to go onto a piece of Evening Evergreen, and it is just a case of gluing everything together. What I tend to suggest to people, if this is the first time you've made a fun fold, don't give it away, keep it, because then you can measure off it to make your next one. And you can also see how it works. I mean, with the gatefold, it's quite straightforward, but with some of the waterfall cards and things like that, then you really do need an exemplar so that you can work out what it was you did to make it do that. Right, so I'm starting from the back and working forward, so we'll pop this on the inside. Out. glued together. Again, it's a shame to be covering up this side of the DSP. This is from Bloom Where You Planted DSP, which is such a useful and neutralish, lots of greens, lots of browns, so it's quite useful as a go-to for backgrounds and things. Plus you can also cut out bits with the dies that go with the bundle, cut out images from the DSP. So. Okay, so we line that up there. And then again, with this one, you know, little dots in the centre where we've got more card. You could always cut it out using the sticky sheets. That's going on this DSP. Make sure you've, well, actually you still don't need to make sure it's the right way around yet. You do need to make sure it's the right way around once you add it to the front of the card. And that just about fits on there. If you press it down so it actually glues, Linda. There we go. Okay. And then just going to stick on the other one. Oh. See, all those leaves are going up and then that little one there's coming down. Well, never mind. I think I'm going to, there's more going up than going down, so I'm going to leave it that way. And I do think this set does suit itself to mail cards. And I think they can be quite hard to make. Particularly because I do like my flowers and stuff. Although next month is it's trees again, actually. It's the Beauty of Friendship is our cards for next month. So, and I'm just going to add this on here. Now, because we're on dimensional, we want the card to still open. What I tend to do before I glue that on, so I position that roughly where it's going to be, and then I'm going to add, when I find them, I'm going to add dimensionals on this side. So 3 should be plenty on here. Okay, and then it's going to go there, so you know where to put them because you're lining them up with your piece here, and then that piece is going to go there, so you want dimensionals on this side. There's nothing worse than getting them on the wrong side and it's sticking down the card, so I'm keeping my finger there. Okay, so I've got dimensionals on this side, so then take your covers off, this one, and take your covers off this one. And I was moaning last week about the lighting, so I've tried fiddling with it and I'm still really shadowy, so I might have to invest in one of those ring lights just to give the diffuse light. Okay, so then I'm just popping that on there, so it just lines up with the trellising. Oh, that's a better word than fencing, isn't it? The trellis work. Okay, I'm pressing that down and there you go. So no dimensions are showing, and you've got a beautiful Bakewell card. So that's me for this week. If you've enjoyed the video, do a thumbs up for me, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do so, and I will see you next week. Thank you very much. Bye.